Yeah, we're talking about the difference between what is a Republican and what does being a part of the Republican Party mean. Now, me, I'm a Republican, but I'm not necessarily a member of the Republican Party. Do you even know what government you live under? What about you? You know what government you live under? You know, what about you? You know what? Okay, most people, do you know what kind of government you live under? My eyes may be a little crossed, don't you worry about that. But do you know what government you're supposed to be living under? Now, you know the voting process is supposed to be, quote, democratic, okay? But even though the voting process is democratic, we do not live under what's known as a democracy. And I challenge everyone out there, especially if you're a young man, young woman, and you're coming up through the grade schools. I went to school, I graduated, I'm a graduate, I graduated in '79. And the school that I graduated from is not important now, but I graduated in '79. I am a graduate, I do have a diploma from the State Board of Education from Tennessee. And so I went from the first through the 12th grades. I went straight through school. When I got a chance to go to summer school, I went to summer school, and I enjoyed summer school. And when I found out you could get ahead on classes, then I took more summer school. I'm in favor of having school year-round in some form, but my summers were busy, period, because I was either working in the summer, doing something in the summer, so those months went by quick. But study the difference between what a Republican is and what being a part of the Republican Party is. They're not necessarily the same thing. George Washington, when he lived, he was considered a Republican, but he was considered a separatist. And it was interesting that, and George Washington, it is true, George Washington did engage in smoking marijuana because marijuana was used then as a medicinal to help with pain and sleeping and insomnia and so forth. And anyway, so he may have chopped down a cherry tree, but he smoked some real tree. And don't get upset about that. Maybe you didn't know that about George Washington. Maybe this will make you feel a little bit better, and he won't seem so stuffy on those pictures. But he considered himself a Republican, not necessarily a member of the Republican Party, because when they wanted him to run for president at first, or to be president, he didn't accept the job right away. And when he did, he said, well, just understand I'm going to do things my way. Okay, if you are a black man, a black woman, white man or white woman for that matter, red, yellow, brown man or brown women, you need to understand the difference between being a Republican and being a member of the Republican Party. As I said, I'm a Republican, but I'm not necessarily a member of the Republican Party. And I haven't really checked into what the Republican Party believes. I do know that a Republican is a person that we are independent in our approach to life. Yes, we will help our next door neighbor. We will bless our next door neighbor. But when it comes to laws that govern, we will not allow our next door neighbor's laws to influence us. So you're not going to be able to ever get to a true Republican. You're not going to ever approve same-sex anything, or anything that has to do with, I'm not trying to herald the Republicans above anybody else. I'm just saying, though, that if one state votes to have same-sex laws, another state has the right to reject those laws and not be chastised. That's what living under a republic is supposed to be. Do you know what kind of government you live under? Do you know the difference between the government you live under and what you're supposed to be living under? Because we vote democratically, but the so-called Pledge of Allegiance, which I do not encourage people to say, especially if you are the redeemed of the Lord. If you're the redeemed of the Lord, we don't say pledge allegiances and all of that. We pledge our loyalty and our lives to God through Jesus Christ. Have you ever met God? You know, Jesus Christ is the Son of God, and he's divine, not a created human being. And if you believe that Jesus Christ is a created human being and not divine, I guarantee you, you got bats in your belfry. So, you know, if you believe in freedom and true independence, then a Republican is a person that we will help you, but we will not allow your laws to govern what we do. And to the rest of you who may be sitting around or listening, you know, you should check out the difference between what is a democracy and what is the democratic voting process. What's the difference between being a Republican or being a member of the Republican Party? We're going to get some breakfast? All right. Let's get some breakfast.